Pittsburgh tends to be known as a sports town, so here's a statistic that may surprise you. People around here buy as many tickets for the arts every year as they do for any one of our major league sports teams. And a quarter century ago, folks around here made a big bet on arts as a driver of economic development, and they began investing in a cultural district in downtown Pittsburgh. The centerpiece was the old Stanley Theater, which opened 25 years ago this fall as the Benedum Center for the Performing Arts, the home to the Pittsburgh Ballet, Civic Light Opera, and Pittsburgh Opera, along with a thriving Broadway series. Well, the Benedum has become one of the top performance venues of its kind in the country. And Kevin McMahon is back with us today with a preview and a recap, and he's president and CEO of the Pittsburgh Cultural Trust. Welcome. Good to see you again.
Thank you, Bill.
And congratulations. Happy anniversary, 25 years,
it's
right?
It's amazing how time flies, isn't it?
It does indeed. A little bit of a story about how the Benedum came about. I mentioned the great grand vision for that part of downtown Pittsburgh.
Right. I mean, a lot of people remember the Stanley Theater because, of course, it opened in 1928 and was one of the major movie palaces of the entire region. Thousands and thousands of people there every week going in to see these great motion pictures.
That was the beginning of talkies, actually, right?
Absolutely right.
Yeah.
And then, you know, things began to soften. It was a sort of a rock and roll house for a while in the late 70s, early 80s. And about that time, this group of civic leaders that you mentioned, led mostly by Jack Hines and the Hines Endowments, came together and really felt that the downtown, particularly the cultural district, it was in great need of some upgrading. You know, it was, of course, Pittsburgh's notorious red light district. Stanley was, in effect, closed at that point. No one was coming into that part of downtown. And they put together a package to purchase and renovate the Stanley Theater. And sort of the rest is history. My predecessor, Carol Brown, along with a gentleman by the name of Paul Jenkins, who headed the Benedum Foundation, discussed this project with Jack Hines and the rest of the civic leaders and came up with this wonderful notion that they could complement what was then Hines Hall, which had been renovated.
That was sort of the first bet on the
Exactly.
cultural district, right?
And then they decided they would endeavor to raise money. I believe it was close to $45 million of funds were raised, private and public funds, to historically, accurately renovate the facility. And it was a true restoration as opposed to just a renovation.
And spectacular, you know, for anybody who's ever been in there, and continues to this day. It's actually in great shape. I was just there a week or so ago for a show, and it's terrific.
Well, we do spend a lot of time on the maintenance of the Benedum Center. That facility, you know, it has in excess of 2,800 seats, so it is the largest facility of its kind in this part of the state. It is a very intensely used facility. In fact, a couple of years ago, it was written up as the third busiest performance venue of its size and kind in the entire world.
In the world?
In the entire world.
Wow.
With often well over 280 some individual ticketed performances a year. Sometimes we even go over 300 individual ticketed performances a year. So it's a very, very busy place. The average for a venue of that kind, by the way, is about 200. So we are almost off the chart in terms of busyness. And that's good because, of course, one of the interesting economic things about a facility like the Benedum Center is because it's so large and such a beautiful facility, it costs a lot of money to maintain it and to run it. We spend in excess, we the Cultural Trust spend in excess of $10,000 a day.
$10,000 a day.
Excluding the performances.
Gee.
Just to keep the facility in good shape. This past year, the Cultural Trust spent in excess of $400,000 just to reupholster the seats in the Benedum Center, which hadn't been done before. A couple of years back, the Cultural Trust, I think we spent something like $1.5 million to replace the air conditioning systems that were, you know, reached their useful life.
So it looks sharp for a good reason. There's a lot of ongoing investment.
We have a
attention
great
being paid
team
for
of,
it,
yeah, absolutely. We have a great team of people, the staff, you know, we have in excess of 200 stagehands that help us keep the place buzzing, more than 400 volunteer ushers that greet people and bring people into the performances. So there's a lot of stuff going on.
No, there is. Speaking of stuff going on, now you whetted everybody's appetite to go back and check out how well you're taking care of the place. What have you got coming up?
Well,
this fall?
of course, the big event is what we're talking about. At the end of September, the weekend of the 28th, 29th, and 30th is the sort of official 25th anniversary. We'll start that Friday night with a great gallery crawl that the Cultural Trust does 3 or 4 times a year. So there'll be lots of fun, free activity for everybody to come and participate. Saturday evening, we have our big gala fundraiser, which we love to have everybody there, and there'll be all kinds of great performers going on. And then Sunday, all of the theaters in the Cultural District are busy with lots of programming. So it will really be a great activity that last weekend in September. In terms of sort of big shows coming into town, at the Benedum, for example, we have a return of the Jersey Boys, basically all now through September, followed by a return of Mary Poppins, extremely popular show in October. And then really one of the things I'm most looking forward to in mid-November, we're bringing the Tony Award-winning Best Play of the Year last year, War Horse. Not the movie,
right.
The play. And it is a not-to-be-missed production. It's one of the most wonderful dramas, very serious, very poignant, very emotional, but one of the best theatrical pieces I've ever seen in my life. It's just phenomenal. War Horse in mid-November.
All right, lot to look forward this year as we begin the next 25 years
Absolutely.
for the Benedum Center. Kevin McMahon, thanks so much.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Bill.
it. And we'll be back in a minute with a little dollars and cents. Stay with us.